What's something very important that should be taught in schools or taught at a college that you're paying thousands of dollars to go to, but rarely is? Interviewing. To have a successful interview, there are three main things that you should focus on. I've had over 50 interviews here throughout my 4 years of college, and I've learned many things along the way. I've made many mistakes, and I've had many successes that I wish to share with you all. The three most important aspects of an interview are your attire, your body language, and the delivery of your answers. When you go to an interview, you want to make sure you look your absolute best. For guys, this means you wear a navy blue suit, a black suit, or a charcoal gray suit. Underneath, you want to make sure you wear a conservative shirt, meaning the shirt should be white or light blue. Your shoes should be black or brown, and your belt should be matching your shoes. Make sure you don't wear a flashy watch or a watch with too big of a face because that could get distracting in an interview, and you want the interviewer to focus on your answers rather than what you're wearing. So keep what you're wearing to a conservative minimum. Um, this goes for ties as well. Make sure that your tie is of a solid pattern or, something not too flashy but complements your suit and your attire very well. For girls, I would recommend something similar. I would wear a black, navy blue, or charcoal gray suit. Your shirt underneath should be white or light blue. I would refrain from any flashy jewelry or flashy nail polish, similar to what I said about watches for guys. They can get distracting, and you really want the interviewer to focus on your answers and not what you're wearing. Keep makeup to a minimum, and I'd say if you're going to wear heels, don't overdo it and maybe cap it at a 2-inch heel. The next important thing is your body language. You want to make sure at an interview you give a firm handshake when you get there, you're constantly smiling, and you sound enthusiastic as you give your answers, and you want to make sure that you're always smiling. At the end of the interview, you want to make sure you incorporate all these things into your goodbye. So when you're saying goodbye to your interviewer, make sure you give them a firm handshake, make eye contact, and smile. The third thing, which comes after the first two things I mentioned are checked off the box, are the delivery of your answers. This is arguably the most important thing of your interview, and probably the hardest thing to work on, but arguably the most important in deciding whether you get the interview or not. So, my recommendation to you all, and it's worked best for me, is to maybe Google the top 25 or top 50 most common interview questions and, write answers out for them. Think of stories and scenarios and examples that you can apply to various questions. For example, if you were in a group project and you took a leadership role in that project, that answer could be applicable to many questions, such as name a time you were in a team and a conflict arose, or name a time where you had to take responsibility. See, you don't want to use the same story for both these answers, but if one of for both these questions, but if one of these questions came up in an interview, you have a story ready and adaptable to that question. I want to emphasize that you should practice your questions out loud. Once you've written out the answers, you want to make sure that you read them out loud. Don't read them to yourself because it helps in becoming comfortable and confident with your answers and allows your answers to be much more smooth when you deliver them at the actual interview. You want to make sure that you do not sound memorized, you do not sound rehearsed. This is awful. You don't want to sound robotic, and it will really turn an interviewer off if you don't sound natural and genuine when you speak. Also, with the delivery of your answers, going back to the body language, as you give these answers, you want to make sure that you are making eye contact, that you are smiling, and that you genuinely sound enthusiastic in your answers. One of my biggest issues interviewing was that, and I mocked with a couple of my friends who were a little better at interviewing than myself. They told me I was giving great answers and my answers were fine, but the tone at which I was giving those answers was a little monotone. And so I really worked on maybe changing my pitch during my answers, and it really helped me become a lot better at interviewing. I started getting more final rounds, I started getting more offers, and I think it's something that should be highlighted because not a lot of people really think of it. So to sum things up, there are three really important things that you should focus on at an interview. And those three things should be how you look, how you act in terms of your body language, and how you deliver your answers. I've, like I said before, made plenty of mistakes, but I've had many successes. And I hope that some of these tips and some of these guidelines find you guys well, and you have many successes to come from your interviews going forward. Thank you.